Young man, young man, your arms are too short to box with God. But Jesus spake in the parable and he said, a certain man had 2 sons. And Jesus didn't give this man a name, but his name is God Almighty. And Jesus didn't call these sons by name, but every young man everywhere was one of these 2 sons. And the younger son said to his father, he said, Father, about the property, give me my portion now. The father with tears in his eyes said, Son, don't leave your father's home. But the young man was stubborn in his head and hard in his heart. And he took a share of his father's goods and went off in some far-off country. There comes a time, every young man everywhere looks out from his father's home, longing for that far-off country.
And the young man journeyed on his way. And he said to himself as he traveled along, this sure is an easy road, nothing like the rough roads behind my father's plow. Young man, smooth and easy is the road that leads to hell and destruction. Downgrade all the way. The further you travel, the faster you go. No need to trudge and sweat and toil. Just slip and slide till you think up means hell's iron gate. And the young son kept traveling along till at nighttime he came to a city. And the city was bright, the nighttime like day. Brass bands and string bands are playing. And everywhere the young man turned, there was laughing and dancing and singing. And the young man stopped and passed by and said, tell me what city is for. And the passerby said, don't you know?
This is Babylon. Babylon. That great city of Babylon. Come on, my friends, and come with me. And the young man joined the crowd. Young man, you're never lonesome in Babylon. You can always join a crowd in Babylon. Young man, you can never be alone in Babylon. Alone with your God in Babylon, you can never find a place, a lonesome place. A lonesome place to go down on your knees and talk with your God in Babylon. And the young man went with his newfound friends and bought himself some brand new clothes and spent his days in the drinking dens, swallowing the fires of hell, and spent his nights in the gambling dens, throwing dice with the devil for his soul. And he met up with the women of Babylon. Ooh, the women of Babylon, dressed in yellow, purple, scarlet, loaded with earrings, rings, and bracelets, their lips like honeycombs, dripping with honey, perfume and sweet smelling like the jasmine flower. And the smell of the jasmine flower got into his nostrils and went to his head, and he wasted his substance in riotous living. In the evening, in the black and dark of night, he met him with the Babylon women, and they stripped him of his money and stripped him of his clothes, and left him broken ragged in the streets of Babylon.
There, the young man joined another crowd, the beggars and lepers of Babylon. He went down to the green swamp. He was hungry in the mountains. He got down on his belly in the mire and mud of Babylon and ate the husks with the hogs. Not a hog was too low to turn up his nose at the man in the mire of Babylon. Then the young man came to himself. He came to himself and said, in my father's house there are many mansions. In my father's house every servant has a place to eat. In my father's house every servant has a place to sleep. I will rise and go to my father. And his father saw him far away off and ran up the road to meet him. He put clean clothes on his back, a golden chain around his neck. He killed the fatted calf, made a feast, and invited the neighbors in. Oh, sinner, when you're mingling with the crowd of Babylon, drinking the wine of Babylon, running with the women of Babylon, forget about God and laugh at death. Because today, you have the strength of a bull in your neck and the strength of a bear in your arms. But some of these days, you're going to have a hand-to-hand struggle